Another rainy day. It's actually supposed to be raining the whole week again. Although it's super windy. Makes me wonder if anyone dares to fly the drone during a weather time like this. And I was checking, it looks like that fraudulent credit card transaction was taken off, so that's a good thing. Actually, despite the wind and the rain, it makes me wonder if I could find a good forest area to fly through during times like this. Guess we take advantage of it because there'll probably be no one there as well. Holy smokes, you see this wind just building up just like that? Okay, hopefully the wind sound isn't going to destroy the onboard mic camera on the camera here. But the drone news I read today was kind of interesting, all about people using it for spying potentially, and hey, killer weapons and AIs. The first one here was of a soccer match. It says, Honduras accuses Australia of spying by drone before playoffs. Holy cow. That's as windy as heck. I wouldn't be surprised if I see some more knocked down trees afterwards. But with this one here, it says, Honduras accused Australia of spying on their training sessions with a drone on Monday as tensions heated up on Wednesday's decisive World Cup playoff match. So they showed a video of it, essentially they're doing their practice session, and then above is a drone capturing footage. Who flew the drone, who knows? But according to this anyways, it says it was causing discomfort among the Honduran team and delegation. I was just wondering if there was, like, say, a drone looking at their training session, what can they really get out of that? I don't know, is it just me or does that seem a little bit too over dramatic for a drone flying above them that's just in a distance? I would imagine hearing voice and stuff would be more of a concern in terms of recording. But it says here too, according to Honduran newspaper, La Prensa Honduras team management sent up drones of their own in 2016 to ensure no unauthorized party was monitoring their training sessions. That actually made me wonder if that's how it's going to be. Don't like a drone? Go send your own up there. That's how it's going to be eventually, with people fighting with their own tech. Holy, all these troopers running in the harsh wind and rain. And speaking of sending your own drones, I guess, to go after other drones, this one kind of interests me today. It says scientists basically are urging the need to ban killer robots / drones because of the AI. And apparently, to prove the point of this, there was this little film that was published out there. It looks really professional, basically high budget, and it shows basically people sending these little tiny micro drones filled with, I guess, explosives. They can do people's deeds. To show the way, you gotta ban them now. And it says here from this website, autonomousweapons.org, ban lethal autonomous weapons, take action. Many of the world's leading AI researchers and humanitarian organizations are concerned about the potentially catastrophic consequences of allowing legal autonomous weapons to be developed. Encourage your country's leaders to support an international treaty limiting lethal autonomous weapons. And so yeah, you can see in this video, it shows everything at first from a person saying, oh, look at this cute little drone, kind of like that little micro one I showed you in that other TED Talk. And he's showing how it can be used as a weapon. It basically just crashes into this thing, blows up. You see like a huge swarm of them attaching to buildings, blowing up, going into classrooms, killing people. And people are like, how do we know? We don't know what's going on. They can't find any way to stop them. On the side note, when I was seeing this, I was like, where can I watch the full-fledged featured movie? It actually looks kind of entertaining and interesting. But the thing about this is they talked about specifically, I guess, robot AI in general isn't a request for, like, example, drones to be banned. Although in all the examples here, it looks like it was drones. And talk about things like perception. Watching things like this is probably what most people have in their minds when people fly drones, like even like recreational ones that I fly for photography. They assume it's going to be like this because I guess when you watch things like this, it's the most intriguing when people make movies like that. Who wants to see like a movie plot of, oh, look at this guy, or I don't know, videotaping something with his drone? It's more entertaining for most people to watch stuff like that, blowing up, weapons, etc. This is one of those interesting topics I find personally anyway, since I'm into tech and all that. It makes me wonder, how do you strike the balance between banning something completely where it could have its use versus, I guess, assuming people will use it in an overtop way like this, which I don't doubt people could. But how do you draw the line between saying it's a human cause, for example, as opposed to a robot? Is this going to turn into a movie like Terminator, for example, where everyone's going to take over? Because just thinking about it, for example, putting attachments on the drone, I believe here anyways, you can't do that. Like, for example, putting something where you can just click on the button and you drop an item. Even if I want to use it just for fun and experiment to transfer you know, a harmless item, whatever, like a water bottle or something like that, I can easily see people saying, no, we have to ban them all because someone's gonna attach a bomb to it, so we can't risk it. Like, where do you draw the line there between banning something because of safety versus banning it that'll affect everything in general? Well, my other thought with that would be, instead of banning the whole tech in general in terms of having sophisticated AI that could make its own decisions, would you rather just stop it from evolving in general, or have basically some kind of safety measures, just like my other example of you get a robot against another robot, or find a way to deactivate it? Would that be better? So little birds left here. Is that how it was back in the day with computers, for example? People were afraid these computers would take over human minds and that's it, we should get rid of them. It makes me wonder how our world would be if we don't even have things like basic computer tech, or even things like internet, for example. You could argue, yeah, people could put bad stuff out there into space to do, you know, devious things, but there's so much good that can be done with it too, so should you just ban it completely? And again, for this video, to my understanding, and that organization is not banning drones or robots in general, it's, I guess, robot AI that's designed to kill people autonomously, but I don't know how you can ban that without banning, again, everything else that you could use that AI for or whatever for a good reason. For example, instead of search and destroy, it's search and rescue. Who knows? You would use technically the same type of functions, correct? And I was just trying to think of something over the top, I guess, on the other end of the spectrum, since this is kind of an over-exaggerated example. Like, I don't doubt it's possible. It reminds me of this episode of The Simpsons. Anyone ever watch that one? It was a Halloween special where people were making wishes with this monkey paw, and there's always a negative to the wish. So in this one, they wished for a world peace, so everybody burned their weapons or guns and everything like that. And afterwards, these aliens came and they took over with like little baseball bats and all that, and they're trying to do something, and they couldn't because they didn't have any, quote, weapons. That would be my example of just banning it completely. Like, you never know when it could come, I guess, in handy in a good way. Again, that's just a cartoon exaggeration, but that's just my example of how do you get rid of something like that without affecting everything else too. There's always so much different perspectives to learn when it comes to this stuff, huh? That's why I usually like visiting different places, being diverse and all that, because you just never know. You always have to try to see things from the other person's perspective as well. Alright, definitely no drone flying today. Too windy and too rainy. Well, let's try to find something to whip up. Alright, see you guys later.